The story began in a quiet village where dreams clashed with warnings. Etim and his friends whispered of Lagos wealth, their imaginations set on fire. Then, everything changed. The big boys returned. Slide dollars, the crew, cars roaring, chains gleaming, music shaking zinc roofs. The village erupted. Mama Effiong danced. Children scrambled for money. Even the elders gave warnings drowned by the chaos. But in the crowd, Etim froze. Ima's grip pulled him forward, and Sly's eyes found him, sharp, fiery, unforgettable. In that instant, Etim stood at the edge of two worlds, his mother's warnings and the dangerous road of the big boys, and now the choice begins. The days after their return were unlike anything the village had seen. Nights, once quiet with the chorus of crickets and distant drums, now thundered with music from rented speakers. The big boys turned the village square into their stage, imported liquor flowing, headlights casting long shadows, and money sprayed like confetti at every gathering. To the elders, it was madness. To the younger boys, it was a gospel. Atim watched the shift happen like watching a sickness spread. At first, the younger boys only imitated the walk, the lazy bounce, the chin tilted like the world owed them respect. Then came the slang, update, runs, cash out. They repeated these words as if saying them enough times would summon the money into their own hands. It was Ima who changed the fastest. He began skipping evening football, choosing instead to linger at Mama Effiong's canteen where the big boys held court. When Etim asked why, Ima only laughed. You think ball will feed us? My guy, shine your eye. These men are living the life. One evening, Ima dragged Etim along. The canteen was heavy with cigarette smoke and the sharp scent of gin. Sly sat at the head of the table, phone in one hand, his other hand resting casually on a bundle of cash. Dollars scrolled through pictures of half-dressed women on his iPhone, showing them off like trophies. Crispy filled the air with too loud laughter, while Mr. Ben spoke only in short nods as if words were too expensive. Our boys, Sly said when Ima and Etim approached. He gestured at the empty plastic chairs. Sit down. Etim sat reluctantly, his body stiff. Ima, by contrast, leaned forward, eyes wide, drinking in every word. You see, Sly began, lowering his voice like a teacher about to reveal a secret, the world doesn't reward patience. Those who wait, die waiting. Lagos taught us that. He tapped his phone. Out there, this small thing can buy you houses, cars, anything you want, if you know the game. The game? Dollars echoed, smirking. But not everybody fit play am. Crispy raised his glass. But you two, you get sense, I can see it. Etim shifted in his seat. His mother's words echoed in his ears. Some things are for doers, not talkers. He wanted to ask, what game? What sense? But Ima beat him to it. Teach us, bras, Ima said, voice trembling with excitement. We're ready. Anything you say. The big boys laughed. It wasn't cruel. It was the kind of laugh older men give when they see themselves reflected in reckless youth. Sly leaned closer. Small, he said. First, you learn respect, loyalty. When we call, you answer. When we send, you go. That's how you earn trust. The rest will follow. Etim felt a chill. It didn't sound like opportunity. It sounded like a trap. That night, walking home under a sky thick with stars, Ima couldn't stop talking. Bro, do you know what this means? We're inside now. Do you understand? Inside. No more fetching water for Mama. No more struggling with Gary. Our time is here. Etim didn't answer. He kicked at the dust, his chest heavy. At the gate of his compound, his mother waited, arms folded, her wrapper tied firmly at the waist. She looked at him with eyes that saw too much. You smell of gin, she said quietly. Etim opened his mouth to protest, but the words tangled. She stepped closer, her voice dropping lower. Remember, my son, not every door that opens is meant for you. Some doors lead only to darkness. Behind her, the lantern light flickered, throwing their shadows long against the wall. Etim felt caught between two of them, his mother's steady, unshaken shadow and Ima's restless, eager one fading into the night. And in that fragile space, he realized the corruption had begun, not with laptops or stolen dollars, but with loyalty, with belonging, with the dangerous hunger to be counted among men. The night it happened, the air was heavy with dust and heat, the kind that clung to your skin even after the sun had gone. Etim had promised his mother he was going to bed early, but when he heard Ima's whistle outside their compound, the sharp two-note call they'd used since childhood, he rose quietly from his mat. I thought you were sleeping. Ema said as Edom slipped out into the darkness. His friend's eyes gleamed with excitement, a restless fire that refused to die down. Come, they said we should follow them tonight. Follow them where? Edom whispered. To town. Real life, bro. No more sitting outside and watching. Tonight, we see how they move. Edom hesitated, but Ema was already halfway down the path. Against his better sense, he followed. They found the big boys waiting by their cars near the market square. Music pulsed from the Camry, low and dangerous, like a drumbeat meant for war. Sly leaned against the Lexus, cigarette glowing between his fingers. Dollars tossed a key ring in the air, catching it lazily each time. Crispy, as usual, filled the silence with laughter that didn't quite fit the mood. When the smaller boys approached, Sly's eyes landed on them. Ah, our boys, he said, his tone smooth, unreadable. You came? Dollars grinned, teeth flashing. Good. Tonight you learn, but keep your mouth shut. Understand? Ema nodded eagerly. Etim kept his silence. They piled into the cars, the leather seats smelling faintly of smoke and perfume. The drive into town was fast, reckless, the cars swerving past Okadas, horns blaring. Edom gripped the door handle, his stomach tight. Ema, by contrast, whooped with laughter, his head out the window as though tasting freedom. At the bar in town, neon lights blinked against cracked walls. Inside, the air was thick with alcohol, sweat, and promises. Women with painted faces drifted from table to table. Men in dark corners tapped quickly at their laptops, screens glowing with strange numbers and foreign names. Edom's breath caught. This was no myth. This was the game. Sly dropped into a chair and pulled out his own laptop, the screen lighting up his face. Dollars leaned over him, muttering terms Etim didn't understand. VPNs, drops, mules. Crispy shouted something about dollars rolling in, waving a drink as if he had already won. Etim stood frozen. His heart hammered as he realized the truth. These men weren't just spending money. They were stealing it. Every flashy car, every sprayed note, every necklace had been pulled from somebody else's pocket, somebody far away whose face they would never see. Suddenly, the door slammed open. 2 policemen stormed in, their torches slicing through the smoke. Panic rippled across the room like fire on dry grass. Laptops snapped shut, drinks toppled. Everybody, stay where you are, one officer barked, his rifle raised. Etim ducked low, his chest tight with fear. Emma grabbed his arm, eyes wide but still excited, as if even this chaos was part of the adventure. Sly didn't flinch. He slid a wad of money across the table with a steady hand, his voice calm. Olga, you know us. We take care of our own. The officer hesitated, then pocketed the cash with a grunt. Next time, reduce your noise. With that, they turned and left, leaving the smell of gun oil behind. The room exhaled. Laughter erupted, nervous and too loud. Dollars clapped Sly's back. Boss man, nothing day happen. But Etim didn't laugh. His body shook with adrenaline, his mind reeling with the image of that gun raised, the bribe passing hands like a curse. He knew in that moment that this wasn't a life, it was a trap. A game where the stakes were blood, prison, or worse. On the drive back, Ema was buzzing. Did you see? That's power, bro. Even police respect them. Etim turned his face to the window, watching the dark blur of trees and fields. Power? No. What he had seen wasn't respect. It was fear, borrowed and brittle, waiting to snap. And though he said nothing, he knew the truth now. Once you stepped into their world, the door didn't open both ways. The rains came early that year. Heavy sheets drummed the zinc roofs, turning the village paths into red rivers. But not even the storm could wash away the whispers. It began with dollars. Word spread like fire on dry grass. He had been arrested in Lagos. Not the usual police shakedown with a bribe slipped into a pocket, but a real raid. EFCC men, neighbors said. They took his laptop, his phones, even the wristwatch he never removed. Some said he was caught inside a hotel. Others claimed it was at an ATM where his card froze mid-withdrawal. The truth didn't matter, only the fact that the invincible dollars was gone. At Mama Efyong's canteen, the air was thick with speculation. Men shook their heads over bottles of Star, while women, pounding yam nearby, clicked their tongues. We warned them, one said. Fast money has no old age. But for the younger boys, it was something else entirely. The laughter around the canteen had lost its sharpness. Nobody shouted cash out anymore. Etim noticed how Ema sat quieter these days, staring at his phone with a frown, as though he had been promised a seat at the table only to find the table burning. And then came the second blow. Mr. Ben, the quiet one, was dead. The story trickled in through hushed voices. A deal gone wrong in Port Harcourt. Some said he had been shot by rivals. Others whispered it was a curse, the kind that follows blood money. His body was never brought back to Etim, only the news. His mother wailed until her voice cracked, her cries rising above the rain, echoing down the muddy streets. The village fell into unease. Children were warned not to linger near Sly and Crispy. Elders held longer meetings beneath the mango tree. Even the pastor's sermons grew sharper, his voice thundering about the wages of sin until his words trembled the wooden pulpit. Adam watched all this with a knot tightening in his chest. He remembered that night at the bar, the guns, the bribes, the hollow laughter. Now it was unfolding exactly as his mother and Chief Oakhorn had said. The crooked road cuts you where you cannot see. One evening, Ema came to him, drenched from the rain. His eyes darted nervously, his voice a low whisper. Sly says we should come tomorrow. He wants to show us something, the real deal this time. Etim froze. After all that has happened, his jaw tightened. That's why. Don't you see? This is our chance to step up. Dollars fell because he wasn't careful. Mr. Ben, wrong place, wrong time. But Sly, he's different. He knows how to survive. Etim shook his head slowly. No, Ema. Can't you see? Surviving is not the same as living. Every one of them will fall. It's only a matter of time. But Ema's eyes burned with the same restless fire that had drawn him in since the beginning. Then let me fall rich. Better than growing old in this mud. He turned and disappeared into the rain before Etim could answer. That night, Etim lay awake, the thunder rolling outside, his mother's steady breathing in the next room. The road ahead was clear now, split in two, one paved with hard work and patience, the other glittering but soaked in blood. And somewhere in the darkness, he feared Ema had already chosen his. The storm eased by morning, leaving the air washed clean and heavy with the smell of wet earth. The puddles in the compound shimmered in the weak sunlight, and chickens scratched along the edges, as though searching for what the rain had hidden. Etim sat on the wooden stool by the doorway, restless. He had not slept. Ema's words from the night before still echoed in his head. Better to fall rich than grow old in this mud. He could still see his friend's face, lit with that dangerous hunger, the kind that no warning could quench. His mother noticed the heaviness in him. She didn't ask right away. Instead, she went about her morning slowly, washing greens in a basin, humming an old folk song that rose and fell like waves. After a while, she sat beside him, her wrapper damp at the hem, her eyes sharp yet kind. My son, she said softly, you carry a weight that is not fit for your age. Etim stared at the puddles. Mama, what if Ema is right? What if suffering is useless and only the bold get to live well? She tilted her head, studying him. What do you call living well? He hesitated. Money, cars, respect. Her laughter was low, without mockery, but it cut through him. Respect, she said. The kind they throw at you while waiting for you to stumble. Cars? The kind that can vanish with one police siren? My son, not all that glitters is a crown. He sighed, shoulders slumping. But Mama, people listen to them. When Sly talks, everyone stares. When they spray money, even grown men bend to pick it. Who listens to boys like us? She reached out, her rough hands holding his chin so he met her eyes. Listen well, Etim. A tree does not grow tall in one season. The ones that rush up quickly, the wind breaks them first. True strength is in the roots. That is where respect begins. Not in money stolen, but in life built with patience. Her words landed heavy, and yet they gave a strange kind of relief. He wanted to believe them. But still, he whispered, Ema won't listen. He has already chosen his path. Her gaze softened. Every man drinks from his own calabash. You cannot drink for him. But you must choose carefully. Don't let his thirst drown you too. The silence stretched between them, filled with the chorus of birds returning after the storm. In that quiet, Etim felt a shift inside him. Not certainty, not yet, but a seed planted deeper than the glitter of fast money, deeper than the noise of his friends. That evening, Chief Oakhorn came by, leaning on his staff. He and Etim's mother spoke at length, their voices low but urgent. Etim only caught fragments. The boy has sense. Don't let him be swallowed. This village cannot bury another child for foolishness. Later, as the sun slipped behind the palms, Etim stood by the roadside, staring at the bend where the bus had once carried Sly and the others away. The road looked different now. less like a ladder to dreams, more like a snare waiting in the shadows. For the first time, he felt clarity. He would not walk that path. No matter how lonely the other road seemed, he would take it. Yet deep in his chest, a knot remained. Because while he had chosen, Ema had not. And sometimes, friendship binds you to storms you didn't want to enter. The harmattan returned with dry winds that whitened lips and painted the mornings in haze. By then, the village had grown quiet about the big boys. Dollars was still in detention somewhere in Lagos. Mr. Ben remained only a memory, his name spoken in whispers when mothers warned their sons. Even Crispy's loud laughter had vanished. Rumors said he had fled to Ghana, hiding from debts and angry partners. Only Sly returned. It happened on a Sunday afternoon. Church had just dismissed, and the congregation lingered in the compound, sharing greetings and boiled groundnuts. A car rolled into the village square, Sly's Lexus, but stripped of shine. Its paint was scratched, the bumper dented. When the door opened, the man who stepped out was no longer the Sly who had left with rings and swagger. His eyes were sunken, his clothes plain. He walked with the wariness of someone who had bargained too often with fear. The crowd stared in silence. No music, no sprayed money this time. Only a man carrying invisible chains. Chief Okon rose slowly from where he sat, leaning on his staff. "Welcome back," he said, voice heavy. "The road has taught you?" Sly tried to smile, but it cracked at the edges. "The road, it takes more than it gives. I thought I could outrun it." He lowered his gaze. "I was wrong." The elders nodded, their silence sharper than scolding. The younger boys shifted uneasily, their illusions breaking like thin glass. Etim was among them, but his eyes searched for one face, Ema. He found him at the edge of the crowd. Ema's clothes were new, his shoes shiny, but his eyes were restless, darting like trapped birds. He had followed Sly too far. He had tasted the game. And now, seeing Sly broken, he understood, but too late. That evening, Etim confronted him near the well. "Ema, you saw him. Is this what you want? To come back empty, to be eaten alive by something that pretends to be wealth?" Emma's lips trembled. For once, he had no clever answer. He only looked at the ground, the dust clinging to his shoes. I thought it was freedom," he whispered. Etim placed a hand on his shoulder. "Freedom is not stolen, it is built." From the shadows, Edom's mother watched, her eyes wet but proud. She knew her son had crossed a line, not into fraud, but into wisdom. The weeks passed. Sly kept to himself, a ghost of the man who once commanded crowds. Children no longer chased after his car. His story became a warning that lived longer than his laughter ever did. And for the boys of Ikot Eben, the lesson settled deep. Fast money burns bright but never lasts. The road that looks easy carries the heaviest chains. As Etim carried water one morning, the sun climbing warm above the palms, he realized something had changed in him. He no longer envied the glitter. He no longer feared the silence. He understood now what his mother had meant. True strength is in the roots. And as he walked past the bend in the road where the bus had once carried dreams away, he whispered to himself, "I will not be trapped." The road stretched ahead, long and uncertain, but this time, Etim walked with steady steps, choosing patience, choosing life.